instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. And finally, like, it's bad enough he's trying to walk. He's trying to walk the entire length of the ramp.
Which, again, baseball stadium.
It's a 45,000-seat building. It's a long-ass ramp. And, like, he's struggling on the ramp. They're just walking. But then the ramp slopes down.
Yes.
Dude, those of you that have ever gone hiking, it's much harder going downhill than uphill.
It's hard on your joints, yes.
Oh, my God. This guy. And then they finally get him in the ring. And the first thing Tanahashi says is basically like, you are one crazy fucker. Like, what are you doing? Yeah. And they hug and they get the flowers. And it's kind of funny because Kenny's like Ibushi's best friend. But, like, he just left the guy behind. He's like, all right, you get in the ring, brother. I'm going to go and say hi to Tanahashi. He gets in the ring, and he just, like, leaves the guy out there, and he's hugging Tanahashi, and finally they get Ibushi in there.
I didn't see it that way. When he was going down the little ramp, Kenny was there to make sure he...
Well, he was, but when they got to the bottom of the ramp, it was like he wasn't waiting for this guy to get in the ring. He just slid in and did his thing. So then...
So at this point, we're about 10 minutes in, and Tanahashi has been crying pretty much the entire time. It's kind of... little sniffles here and there. It's not full, waterworks, but he's been very emotional the whole time. Out comes Shibata, and Tanahashi just breaks. Just moisture everywhere.
Well, the Three Musketeers. Like, he was probably sad also at the same time that Nakamura wasn't there.
That's also true. And Shibata comes out here, and he is here to pay respect to his old rival, but he also wants the world to know he still thinks this guy's a dick. So he gets in the ring, and he here's these flowers, and he tears his shirt off. And Tom's like, all right. And they do a collar and elbow tie-up.
Yes, they did.
And they do 2 or 3 of the most, I won't say, not intense chops you ever saw. They were not swinging for the fences or anything. But they did a couple of chops, and they were happy. Now, Shibata is crying. Katsuyori Shibata is showing emotion.
He's weeping.
They embrace one more time. And then Shibata steps back and gives a gesture as if to say, "Oh, fuck you!" And he leaves.
Yes. So then we have... Yes, Craig.
I was going to say, this is the one that got me. When I saw Shibata crying on Tanahashi's shoulder, I was like, all right, you got me. Here they come.
Yep.
Then we had Keiji Muto coming out next.
Speaking of people who can barely walk.
Well, it's funny because, like, he got in the ring and the announcers were like, thank God he didn't have to walk down that long ramp. I guess he was at ringside or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's actually not walking any worse than Tanahashi right now. He might actually be moving better.
Yeah.
But he hugs him, gives him the flowers. And then they have Fujinami come in.
Tatsumi Fujinami.
Yep.
72 years old.
Yep. Still wrestling.
And looked better than moved better than half the guys in this ring right now.
Yep. So he gets in the ring, and then they have everybody there posing for pictures, okay? So they're all standing side by side, Omega and Ospreay and Shibata and all these guys, and the everyone's taking pictures. And then right as they get finished up and they're all shaking hands, all of a sudden Muto goes, hey, hold on a second. Selfie? And he gets a selfie with him in the ring. I was dying.
On Muto's Twitter, it's out there.
Yes.
So everyone leaves and we think it's all done. But then Naito's music hits.
Yes.
And there's an entrance. And a light show and music and an entrance video. And the entrance is saying, my God, we haven't seen this man in 7 months.
Well, he left New Japan.
Yes.
I mean, he wanted more money.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he'd argue that. But anyway, he left.
Yes.
So he hasn't been around.
Yeah.
And there had been discussion that he could be Tanahashi's last opponent, but he wasn't. And so they brought him back for this ceremony. And not only that, they brought him out as the main eventer of this ceremony.
Yeah.
And they gave him a long-ass entrance.
So long, in fact.
Yes.
Because first the Bushi comes out. We later find out it was Bushi. It's just a matched fella. And then Naito saunters out, and then he takes forever to get into the ring. And they kept cutting from Naito to Tanahashi in the ring. And Tanahashi goes from very, very emotional to he starts looking worried. He's like tapping his wrist.
He is actually going like this. Like, and the announcers even note, we do actually have a time limit here.
Yes. And it takes so goddamn long that he goes from emotional to concerned about time to just outright annoyed. He's just pissed at Naito for stealing the show like this.
He gets in the ring and then he cuts his promo.
Yeah.
But it basically begins with, maybe I'll never wrestle in this ring again. Yeah, probably I won't. But I am looking forward to perhaps meeting you in New Japan again. And until then, goodbye. And he puts the fist up, and they think he's going to punch the guy. And Tanahashi said, I thought you were going to punch me, but he didn't. They bump fists. And then he spits on Tanahashi for old time's sake.
Yeah, I still think you're a dick.
That was the weirdest fucking thing I've seen in a long time. A long time.
I thought it was perfect. I thought it was showing respect, but I still hate you.
I'm trying to think of what the equivalent would be to this right here. It would have to be like somebody that left WWE and went to AEW because they, like, I couldn't even say a Jericho because he was already pretty much on the outs when Cena retired, but it would have to be somebody like that who left and went to AEW, and then on Cena's retirement show, they would bring out Kurt Angle and, you know, all these guys from John Cena's past, but the last guy was the AEW guy, who then, like, kind of buried the place and then left.
I can picture, he's not necessarily one of Cena's rivals, but if you know anything about the guy, it sounds like something he would totally do. Imagine the last guy who would come out in this situation for John Cena's retirement had been Christian Cage. And he came out and talked about how, whatever, he should have been a bigger star in WWE, but maybe he'll fight again someday. And he gave him a big hug and then just punched him in the stomach really hard and then walked out.
Something. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notify button, and you'll never miss a video again.